Hi, I'm Joel Lima, editor of The Economy, and here with me I've got Cam Patel, Director of Global Data Center Solutions at CommScope. Cam, thanks a lot for talking to me.
Sure.
Looking at the data center industry worldwide, what are the main trends that you're seeing today?
Well, the main trends we see are trying to meet the needs and the applications that are occurring, right? So a few things that we're seeing for trends, right? Everybody's looking for a good customer experience. Everyone's trying to figure out how to move to the cloud and virtualize and better use software-defined networks. And the other thing that we're seeing is the need to reduce latency, right? A lot of the video type applications that we're seeing or voice applications require closer proximity to the end user base itself.
Okay. When you say that you're seeing people wanting to move to the cloud, is that a really big problem right now? Because I guess if you're not in the cloud today, you're a bit late to the game. So how does that work now?
Not necessarily. I wouldn't say you're late. There's options, right? So certainly people have applications that are cloud ready. So the new applications lend themselves better to being cloud ready because that's the way they're designed.
Okay.
But there's applications that users have that require work to get there, right? And so there'll be a portion of those that are easy to do and we can move them to either a virtual or a private cloud. But there's also those applications that are too costly to move, right? So we'll still see the existence of a non-cloud based type network that exists for a while. So there's never a too late, right? It's how do you optimize your own data center and supplement with cloud in a lot of cases, right? Because you're never gonna either go fully to the public or have your own. There's always a hybrid that we see occurring.
It's a balance 50-50. But actually when we're looking to optimizing the data center, a lot of companies seem to be looking to the hyperscalers. So hyperscalers seem to have become an example, and they're actually opening up the game now into the small, so the tier 2, tier 3 players. What sort of things are you seeing in that space, so the hyperscaler space?
So what we've seen is they're really efficient at building data centers, right? So they have building structures down. They also have a way of building resiliency into the network that's not been around before, right? Because now we're starting to use data centers as a utility. Before it was kind of a nice to have. Now our business is generally dependent on these things, right? And so what they've done is they've taken a lot of the cost out, right? So where companies focused on hardware, we're starting to see some of those OEMs focus more on software and providing the software services. And then we see a lot of white box type applications, which has really reduced the CapEx to enter into the market. And so we see that trickling down, right? Not necessarily for the white box type applications, but what we're seeing is people really like the resiliency, they like the speed, they like the ability to upgrade on the fly, they like the no downtime. So there's a lot of security measures that clouds put in or hyperscales have put in. This is what customers appreciate about that style of architecture.
Okay, and by reducing CapEx, would you say that's increasing competition within these cloud players and data center players? Is it becoming more competitive? Are there more players? Because it's become more easy to get into the market.
Sure. You know, there's a price to pay. If you're using infrastructure as a service, really that's kind of the public cloud, if you would, where you're actually running your workloads. There's some work you have to do, right? So each one handles it a little differently. There's 3 or 4 big manufacturers, right, of that type of cloud infrastructure. And there is a price to pay. You have to get your applications ready to run on there. So yeah, we see competition. We don't see a lot of bouncing around. Once someone's made a selection on a user, they tend to have loyalty. But we do see pricing kind of coming down, right? So we've seen the big guys start to lower pricing, so it's more efficient to do it in the cloud.
Okay, and you've previously mentioned as well the dependence on the data center, so that's growing and growing and growing. As we get more digital, it's going to grow even more.
Sure.
But we've also had some recent examples that showed us how dependent we are. Having said that, British Airways, so the global outage that they had, around 75,000 people. Do you think data centers are recognized enough today as critical infrastructure that they are?
I think so, right? Everybody today needs to be connected at all times, right? British Airways happen to be an extreme example in that case, but as I take my phone around, I expect to have email connectivity anywhere I go. If I want to watch a video, I want to have that connection. So I think people have started to equate, hey, I want this service. This service comes from a data center. It's not resident on my phone. Sometimes we don't realize that because the latency has gotten so good. If we see drag on our phone, all of a sudden it's like, okay, you start to understand how critical data centers are.
When you look at the global market, what would you say are the ideal latencies? So to connect continents and countries, and depending on the application as well, so we can choose for mobile applications.
So I think it's more application focused. I probably wouldn't be the expert as it related to what country have best latency. But I would say, today, most of the experiences that we need take about 15 to 20 milliseconds.
Okay.
But some of the stuff that we see coming along, such as autonomous cars require low latency. We see virtual reality or augmented reality requiring lower latency. Actually, one of the applications that most people don't think about is trading, right? And so as it comes to finance, latency becomes very important because the first guy to trade there wins, right?
So for example, when you hear the expression, data is the new oil, but then we added, if data is the new oil, data centers are the oil refineries of tomorrow. Do you agree with that? Do you think that's the right analogy?
Can you repeat that? So
if data is the new oil,
okay,
data centers will be the oil refineries of tomorrow.
Oh,
so
I would agree.
Yeah,
I would
so
agree.
this is how they work.
Yeah, and how efficient that refinery is makes that oil better, right?
Okay. And are you starting to see, especially with cars and everything, are you starting to see a demand from customers for connectivity between different types of data centers? So I mean, the smaller edge data center, the regional one, the hyperscale one. Are you starting to see this trend of 3 data centers?
So we see it, right? But what we see is kind of a monolithic type connectivity. And what I mean by that is we see lots of data centers, we see lots of boxes, we see the need for higher speeds, quicker upgradability. The nice thing about that hyperscale architecture, though, is we don't necessarily know what application is going to run on there. It could be one thing one day, or we could be moving different workloads. So we try to build our connectivity in such a fashion where it's kind of ubiquitous to the application and it meets the needs for speeds and feeds that you're looking for.
Then look at CommScope. What can we expect from you guys in the next couple of months?
So in the next couple of months, we've just released a high-speed platform, and we're really excited about it, right? We've done a few things there. So we've taken a look at the market. We've done a lot of voice of customer, speaking to data center users. What are they looking for? And the first thing is, hey, I don't know what's coming, and I don't want to be that guy that builds a data center that doesn't support the application that my end users want. So we have this need for uncertainty, right? We also have I don't know what I'm going to be running tomorrow, multi-mode or single mode, so we've kind of built it. So the platform that we've designed, if you follow the rules that we built in the best loss characteristics into our media and our connectivity. We guarantee applications, right? And so what people appreciate about that is, I'm not guessing that this loss is going to get me whatever. What CommScope's doing with this design guide is letting me know, hey, this is actually what I need to do, and this is the application that I'll get. So it's that application assurance that we're providing that really resonates with the end user.
Okay, Cam, thanks a lot for talking to me. Don't forget you can follow Data Economy on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and also visit the website on www.data-economy.com.